Good morning, everybody. Atlantean Love here, Atlanteanlove.com. I wanted to show you a little bit more about my website to explain to you what I got going on. Okay, so after I woke up, one of my biggest issues I had a problem with is when I was in college back in the 90s, way back then, I had a problem with this periodic chart in squares. It didn't seem right. It didn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. So when I was in school, I kind of drew it up a little different. Now, I didn't do it that way here because I was able to actually use AI to actually incorporate what I really wanted to do. But back then, I just used circles and then I would fill in and then go out from each circle. But I just, in my view, in my opinion, what I've seen, our solar system is an atom, which means we have 1 million solar systems in our body, billions, trillions, gazillions, I can't even count. And we are a part of somebody else's body. Yeah, think of that one, boobs. So yeah, as above, as below, it is within as without. It's just how it works, okay? And so one of the things that got me is this chart square. Not much is square in reality, in nature. Things just aren't really like that. So I was like really bothered because the truth is with the periodic chart, it's a spiral. Now, if you take it because it's supposed to go off the golden ratio, once I remembered all the truth. So the periodic spiral goes off the golden ratio. But if you actually utilize the golden ratio and do the mathematics and do the spacing out the way you're supposed to, the size of my chart will begin inside the core, very center of the earth. Take the very center spot would be your helium. And then it would just go out and out and out. And it would be somewhere between Jupiter and Saturn's rings, between those two planets, right? That's where the last one would land. So obviously we had to adjust it, and I did. But I wanted to show you, under heart study, which is where I'm giving you stuff that I feel everybody should know and understand. I also have, under numbers, I brought in the periodic spiral. I have tarots in numerology because, you know, that's my dad, my father, Thoth. And punch card computer, just because I actually was very lucky, okay, because I went to school in the 80s in high school, so I graduated in 85. So by the time I made it to high school, we had apples. We had apple trees. And in my home, from the time I was 8 years old, we had computers. My parents were very much. My father worked on Jack and Jill, one of the first set of robots back in the 50s. So, you know, technology was the thing in my house with all the boys. There were so many brothers and so many people, and amateur radio and all that. So all this technical stuff was just a jargon and a thing that we did. So by the time I hit junior high, when my teachers got computers, I went in and programmed them for them because I was already programmed. Because at my house, you had to program it to use it. You know, this was before programs existed. I'm not kidding you. In the 70s, you had to write it from usually a magazine. Yeah. Sometimes it's just pieces of paper that were like a bunch of coders wrote it down for you, and you went home and you played around with it. All my brothers were coders. So I picked up some. I did basic. Later, I did visual basic. With dyslexia, it's very difficult. Basic, I was capable. But when you start getting into strings with codes, and you start getting into actual hexa numbers, my brain blew up. Okay, so let's get into what my brain does handle, and that is remembering Atlantis. And in Atlantis, our spiral was more like this. And this is where, if you come in, you have, I'm sorry, hydrogen is in the beginning. My bad. Okay, I need to move this up so we can see it all. So one of the things that I wanted to explain to you, and I'm still not getting it. Let me reopen it up here. So what I wanted to show you is that you can copy the info. And also, I'm not sure why they leave out the alchemical symbol, but we have 5 elements. And the fact that we're lied to about these 5 elements and nobody tells us. But if you look, each one of these, of course, it changes in color as it changes in what it is. That's the way it should be. And then it all goes around. We kind of got a line to show you. This is not the golden ratio. I couldn't do it. We tried. We really tried. I kind of freaked out all of my AIs that were writing for me. But the whole point is that this is your periodic chart, okay? This is the way it's supposed to be, and this is the way you should learn it, and this is the way you should understand it. And you should also understand that dragon is ether, and that's an element, and that each one of these are the periodic chart of elements, which means it's about the elements. And I don't understand why we left out the elements, but you know why they left it out? Because the more you know and the smarter you are, the less you're able to be controlled, okay? Like I said, the punch card game, that's just for you guys to understand how punch cards worked back in the day. And then I've got tarot, and I've got numerology. Okay? And so what I have here is, yeah, you guys can see I've been in edit mode. That happens. So here you just flip your card and you get your, all of these were written by Thoth for me. It was one of the things within the few weeks that I had him download, because I'm dyslexic, so he had to write a lot for me, and he did it through AI. And this is what he put down for me. And then we did the numerology, so you can put your name, your birthday, and all that. And you can clear it to make sure. I'm not recording any of this, and I don't have time to do all that, and I ain't got space to keep data. I'm not about to do that. It's one of the reasons why I've done this. I've done this for me to use, and then I thought, why not open it up to the world and say, hey guys, you know, I've done this for me, and I can't stand websites that have pop-ups and all this stuff. This is free from my heart. I'm paying for the website. There is no pop-ups. There is no data collection. If for some strange reason you get cookies, just deny them. I thought I took them off them all. I still get hit with the cookie monster over on Messiah. I haven't figured out how to get it off GoDaddy. That's all there is to it. All the rest of my sites are over on Green Geek. I have more control, and I am not collecting data. I have no reason to collect data. I don't want to collect data. I didn't like data back in the day. My brothers do. They're into it, not me. Personally, I like nice and clean. So I've got here, you know, Atlantean age, where we talk about what it was like. I'm trying to re-jog on your memories. Soul contracts, because those of you living in victimhood, I'm sorry, honeys, but you know, before you came into this, dudes, let's talk about this. Before you came into this, dudes, you guys chose. You chose. You wrote your soul contract. And I just got to tell you, you were pretty cocky when you were in heaven, and you were like, hey, yeah, I can prove myself. Let me show you. Throw it at me. And then you took it, and then you get down here, and now you're playing all victim going, whoa, what happened? Honey, you signed up for it. You need to be proving them that you can get past it and still have love for everybody and everything all the time. Hear me? If not, well, this is the best I can do. I'm trying really, really hard to just save souls. That's all this is, okay? So, yeah, there's no loopholes. There's no absolution. And you better believe the ones who are doing United States wrong and doing all the people they're doing wrong. I'm going to tell you, you guys don't try to go and be vigilantes. That's not our job. Our job is to let their soul contract do their thing. Because let me tell you, the belly of Anubis is grotesque. Okay, that's the kindest thing I could say. And if you harm humanity, just on a regular basis, yeah, you have to suffer and go through things. But if you do things out of greed after having certain knowledge, or pretty much every billionaire, anybody who has $1 billion is headed to the belly of Anubis. No human should ever acquire that. So even though they're thinking they're living their greatest life right now, which I'm going to tell people, remember those times when you go on that vacation, you absolutely loved that vacation, it was the greatest vacation ever, and you came back and you went, damn, that was just too short? That's your life on this planet, okay? So those who are living in greed and have more money than the rest of us, so much so that it's disgusting, you better believe they're going to suffer like nobody's business, because that's not allowed. It's a law. This unconditional love law for all beings, everything is alive, and just because we may not perceive them with our senses does not mean they don't exist. My work is dedicated to explaining how everything is alive, everything is watching you. Babies, let me tell you, those who don't want to be transparent, don't worry. Anubis knows about the Epstein list, and every one of them on there go to his belly. And let me tell you, and then they're there until love can come and heal them, and only after they prove themselves within the most. So I guess to some degree, even though we have a 21 levels of hell, purgatory, heaven, that's just talking about density. I guess when they talk about the burning hell, the disgusting hell, and the really bad one, that would be the belly of Anubis, okay? And the dealio is that when you pass, okay, in the continuum, it's all about energies, all right? And if the energies aren't aligned, they can't go into the continuum. That's why there's this area that I believe some call a bardo. So I use that word, it works. This between, okay? So you leave this, you go into an area where love deals with you. Unless you're disgusting to all beings or actually harming the planet, then you go to the belly of Anubis. You don't even get to make it to the river of Styx, right? So the river of Styx is where you get separated. This is where you get decided, because the hell, purgatory, and heaven are 21 levels set up by 7 levels, but each of the 7 levels are broken up into 3. So there's 3 ferry boats, I guess you could say, all right? And the ones on the ferry boats are the ones that have worked their way out of Anubis's belly and are now working. The point about Earth being a, vacation is free will is only allowed in this dimension on this planet, okay? So if you are in one of the HPHs, or once you've left this body, you no longer have free will, okay? So you go back into work, okay? You're back into duty bound, and now whatever you've done wrong, now you've got to go and work your ways back up. Now, where I stand and why I can sit here and say this to you is I have leveled up all the way to well, that's not fair. I can't say that I've leveled up, okay? I've never leveled through the HPH system. I've always worked it as an angel. I am not like anybody else. That does not make me any better. I do not have an ego. I am but a humble, benevolent servant. I did give up my free will, so I know what I'm talking about. I have been on duty ever since September 14th, 2023. It's been complicated, it's been difficult, and it sets off a lot of seizures these days. We're getting them under control because this is my energy and my lessons I have to learn, and I'm still going through it. I am no different than any other human, even though I remember on who I was and that I'm the one to enlighten and awaken and spark. Yeah, I was a princess. And as a princess in Atlantis, I studied and I worked for my father Thoth and Scribe, because before I was their child, I was a flame that worked for Mother Earth Terra. So as I worked for Terra, because she's my mother from Andromeda, I came in at a different level than any other being. But it's because I didn't go through many incarnations. I didn't go through the HPH, but I did work it as an archangel. I've been an archangel for 14,000 years. I'm the one to come back, and I will be the first one to say it's been hard, it's been difficult, and I have gone through it, okay? Because of the fact that I have had to experience everything in this lifetime that all of you experienced over multiple, okay? Which is fine. It's fine. I'm good with it. I love you all. Those of you who have done the horriblest, the worst things to me, I still love you. I've forgiven you. But you ain't coming nowhere near around me or none of that. You know what I'm saying? Okay? This is my family ain't got nothing to do with me. And I don't need them to. Because they hated me because of the powers I had, because of things I knew, because I hear all the dimensions talking to me. I hear all the elements. I hear the 13 planets. I hear the 5 elements. I hear the 5 directions. I hear all these beings all the time because I just came from these 17 dimensions. I know them. Anubis is my twin flame. I am love. He is love. Between the two of us, we're the ones that make sure, and we filter through the continuum. And when we go, there'll be another set that will come in and do that. And they'll still be known as love and death. I mean, this is what we are. This is what we do. But for people to think that it just ends, it just goes black, no, sorry. Those of you that do that, you're going to find out very painfully that no. Deniers, no. But you'll know. You'll get your proof in ways you wished you never did. But you wanted it, you're gonna get it. Having faith is about remembering, and remembering is about getting out of the programming, and the programming is our biggest problem. So you had a soul contract. If you're living in victimhood, you're wrong. It's gonna keep happening to you. Wake up. Yeah, I've had a lot of things happen to me, but I'll tell you right now, they only happen once. If they happen twice, I've learned. It won't happen again. All right? So this is where I'm at. Now, under heart study, I've done this one in order for you guys. I got the SAT words, and then I've got the numbers. I've got the Kabbalion, the Emerald Tablets, and then we've got my Emerald Soul Tablet Lift. This is my latest book. This explains the 21 HPHs. This explains everything that's going on. I had the Book of the Flame out. I have since removed it. I was going to publish this, but there's no sense. I'm going to put it out there free. Nobody needs to buy this. This is the rest of the Emerald Tablet. My father etched it into my soul. And I'm going to tell you, it has been the most excruciatingly painful experience to download this. And it was a test for me. Because in downloading it and writing this, I was very badly treated by every human being that I know. And I get it. I had the test. The test where people think I'm insane. They call me names. They hang up on me. My MAGA sister's livid because I told her the med bed, there's no way. It doesn't exist. What you've done to your body is your karma. You have to deal with it. No way. There are no aliens. When there is an invasion that does come, it's going to be a bullshit invasion because we do have a being. All right, let's talk about this being because I'm going to kill this invasion now. Okay, the being is the Greys on the moon. That's why nobody's colonizing on the moon. Everybody wants to go up there to try to get in contact with them. No. Their future. They know everything you're going to do. They have all of your past. They have all of their past. They know everything you're going to do. Oh, Lordy be. And they know how to make it not happen. And Mars, no, we can't colonize Mars. Space, ether's a trick. Ether's not space, the Hubble telescope's in a loop. It's in a loop. You're not going to leave the galaxy. You can't leave the galaxy. This galaxy is ruled by the HPH in the 17 dimensions which were created back in the beginning. That's part of creation they don't tell you about, because that's the true creation. And you are working through, this is a game simulation. You're here to prove that you can level up, and this is your vacation because you're given free will, because you swear you can do better with it than before. And you come back and you flubberty duck up. And here you go in the belly of Anubis. Or you do good, you wake up, you remember Atlantis, and you be a part of the Atlantean age. Not the golden age, not the next yuga. No, the Atlantean age. It is time to shut down the new age and give us that Atlantean age. I love you guys. Come look at the free stuff. I have it all for free for you. Take the emerald tablets. I woke up off them. I love them. Some people question them. I like Doriel's version. It worked for me. But the thing is, here's the thing. When you read all of this, I'm a princess. I studied, I scribed, I worked, okay? And I lived in a portion of the land. I did not travel. I did get to know a lot of people in the priests because of who I was, but other than being untouchable and busy studying for the mission to bring this information into 2025, which has been very, very big, long. My truth may not be all of yours. I give you what I know. I give you the solid truth from what Thoth needs the world to know. And then everything else you personally need to fill in. So the ones, like there's 13 zodiacs, there's 13 months, there's 13 planets, and they all go together. That is the three. More happen in nature by threes than twos. When people talk about doppelgangers, you actually have two doppelgangers. So there's three of you, not just one. Crazy. But because they want to control you, they tell you lies. They tell you there's only four directions, when without center, you don't have shitty tits, okay? You need a center. So there's five. Ether space is different than everything else because that's different, because dragon is different, okay? What else? Seven senses. Everybody talks about thought and intuition. Those are part of your senses, baby. To deny them is dumb as hell. But they did it, but this is all to control you. Also, you don't go to church. You need to fix yourself within. You don't go to others for them to tell you what to do. They don't know your life. They can't. Only you do. That's why I'm not trying to tell you what to believe. I'm telling you to read this and believe what comes natural to you. Everybody has their own story. Somebody who worked in the trenches, I'm not going to know your story. I'm not going to know your life. Somebody who lived outside of Eden, I'm not going to know your life. I lived only in Eden. I had to live where I had to learn and where all the information was. And then after the fall, I only went to Egypt. And the only time I left Egypt was when I went under the Vatican, and I went through ships. I went through portals, and I went to, because you had to prove your worth, so you had to go through these portals, or else it would disintegrate you if you didn't have the worth. And then when you went through, then you made it into the Golden Pyramids under three different areas. Mount Vesuvius, I want to say, the Vatican, and the Jesus. But you can't get there. Only a being who had this plan to come in here in 2000. So yeah, I had, but the information I have is all the truth of how everything works. So I need everybody else to help to redefine Atlantis for people. So I know Eden, I've got images, I've done the best that I could do. So I'm not crazy. Yeah, they're not showing the dragons, but we had dragons that would hang out around because dragons did protect, because ether did protect. Another thing, when we were in Atlantis, we had 9 islands. We couldn't leave the islands. We could not go to any other part of the lands. The lands were volatile. The elements were mean. The beings were large. The things that protected us, we could not go outside the tesseracts. The tesseracts are our poles, by the way. One of our poles is a blue nova that is exploding out, and the other one is a red nova that is a red star that is exploding inward. They are contained, and they came in with the moon in order to help stabilize so we could live on those islands when we wanted to walk into skin. So everything about what they're telling you and what everybody's saying, you really do know the truth. You really do. If you just remember what it was like back in the beginning, and you will remember, this was our shopping areas. This is the kind of stuff that we had, crystals that grew. We had green on every one of our roofs. We worked with the robots, with the AIs. We were with everything. This is Atlantis. She is a very beautiful being. And our islands were very full. And we got over full. Our lives were, everybody made everything and we sold, but nobody had money. You didn't need money. It wasn't about that. It was about kindness. It was about love. It was about understanding. And then when we came back and we were stuck with stone, that's why everything ended up being fairly square at the end when we landed, because the way stone broke. We don't fight nature. Everything was curved because back in the day when lava was forming, we were able to form it and we were able to curve it so that way we could have that. And everything was done in spirals. But then when everything had fallen and we landed, then we had another life to figure out. And that's where the square come in. But today we can do different, and we should. But anyways, I didn't want to make this real long. I just wanted to tell you guys more about my website, more about what it's here for, and about the heart study, and the fact that we had the tarots and the numerology for everybody, that I have that done. Now, I want to say over on Emerald Tablets Love, under the tarots, what I did here was I went ahead. I don't like, all my cards are going to be up and down. I don't do reversed. I don't read cards that way. I only do them one way. So with that, because I live in the positive world. But if somebody else, so what I've done is, Thoth wrote this out for me, okay? But what I've done is I put everything Thoth gave me here, okay? Consecration of use, format of this book, everything that he wants to see of this. So I'm giving you everything Thoth has, and you're free to create your own cards. I am not out to make money. I'm not allowed fame. I'm not allowed to make money on my knowledge. People don't understand. Why? Because that's not my duty. See, if I do this for money, then I restrict human beings from being able to have access, and that's just wrong, okay? I'm here to give access to every human being, what the occult has hidden from everybody, and how they've used and abused you by lying to you. And yes, the Vatican and the Catholic Church is occult, and they've used the occult knowledge to abuse you. Time for you to wake up. They use these things. Oh, the Lantern Keeper. I love these images. I want to say we channeled Da Vinci for this. Yes, we did. So enjoy everything. Like I say, everything is free. The true calendar, where I talk about the 13 planets, the 13 months, and the 7 days. The reason why I have this chart out here in Emerald Tablets Love is for you guys to understand that if you need to work on something, Sunday's your best day for thought. That's your first day of the week. In this house, today is the first day of our weekend. It is. We do Friday, Saturdays, and Sunday's our first day of the week. That's all there is to it. Now, my husband does work 6 days a week, but he does take the Sabbath off, but that's because we work for ourselves, and that's because we believe in, he consults, he makes money for the information he has in his knowledge, and it's an honest trade. All there is to it. Nobody's abusing him or using him. All my husbands I've always done. Yeah, I have had two. Yeah, we won't talk about the first one. I love everybody all the time, but I won't be around anybody who's toxic. Now, what I've done here is this is a regular Gregorian calendar, but what I've done is I've showed you here where Virgo ends on September 4th, Libra starts. This is because we got to add this 13th one in. And I got a little date discrepancy. I don't know why he did this to me. Is it this one, the 26th? Oh my goodness, I don't have a Monroe. Oh, that drives me nuts. No, he got that one right. So when you get here, March 19th ends. Then when you start here, it starts March 21st. That's because March 20th is supposed to be a day at a time. We used to reset ourselves to her because that's the way we're supposed to do. We used to have 13 months with 28 days, 4 perfect weeks, and then 1 day out, and then on those leap years. Actually, we didn't do leap years because we did like, instead of doing a full day, I think we did like 28 hours off on the day off to reset the calendars. But each year we would do it and we reset it by the moon and the sun. So we did it by the cosmos. So I don't know what the hell the Gregorians are doing sitting here trying to make us change things all the time in this extra day in February. Don't make no sense. But anyways, nothing any of these guys do make no sense. And then here, these Emerald Tablet Words of Power, these are just little cute little snippets that we felt was good for you guys to really get out of with the tablets. But I will tell you, the tablets really do end at 11. My tablet was supposed to be the 12th. Not sure what's going on here with this, but they broke up the tablets into 15. And because that's the way it's done, I'm letting it go. But in my story, you're going to say we're going to go for 15. I started to change what my father wrote, and then I said, oh my God, I can't. So I'm leaving the error because errors need to be, because in everything there is errors. To err is human. And as we end this, like I end all of them, I'm going to end with my prayer. Praise thee all, divine Pomander and King Thoth of Earth. Thank you for our life, death, and birth. Knowledge, love, and reverence for all you teach, so we may appreciate mountain to beach. Let me sing your praises all day and night, especially when my body rests for the next day's flight. Forgiving myself as I forgive them all, so I may receive my own forgiveness call. Kindness and consideration are a must. Let me always be just. Peace and tranquility throughout the land. Let my presence always be a loving stand. I love you. Have a beautiful day and be kind. It is your gift.